All right, hello world, and welcome back to Real Estate Solutions. This is episode number 6. Can't do it on one hand anymore. This is going to be another analysis of Providence. As I've started taking a saying, please don't sue me if you do exactly what I do in my analysis. You may or may not have success. I'm pretty happy with these numbers, but you should always run your own. I am not here to tell you exactly what to do with your money. I am just here to paint a picture for you of what might be possible. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and pop right over. I've been running some quick numbers. I did a little extra last night, and I'm just going to go a little deeper into a few of them. So what I'm doing is basically simplifying the process. I'm not factoring in rehab into this, so it is not quite as deep of an analysis as what I usually do with my big spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go a little deeper into a few properties. I did look at 61 Florence Street a few days ago, I believe, in my recording. But I want to come back to it because I really like this property. It's been sticking in my brain. Give me 1 second while I pull up my MLS from Tracy. So give me just 1 second here. And where's my most recent email from her? Here we go. So we're going to open this up just so we can get those current rent rolls. And we're going to compare it to Rent-O-Meter as well as the Realtor.com app. So real quick, 61 Florence Street, Providence. This is a cool property. We have a single family 4-bed, 2-bath, as well as a 3-family 2-bed, 1-bath in each unit on the same property. So prices do skew a lot between whether you're looking at a single family or an apartment. We're going to start by pulling those numbers for that 4-bed, 2-bath. We're generally speaking going to come in on the low end here, looking at 1917 to 2175. I do think there's potential to get a little bit higher. But we will keep that around 2,000. I don't know if that's exactly where my numbers were on the last take on this. So I'm just going to quickly copy this over. So another thing I did is I hyperlinked the Realtor.com link into the title. We don't really need to have this second post, but I'm going to do it anyway. This one is an asking price of $339, which in my opinion is awesome for a 4-family. Honestly, couldn't give you a good reason why this one is still on the market after 5 days. So maybe the market's not quite as fast as that. I'm loving it though. All right, so we got 10 units, 10 bedrooms, we have 5 bathrooms because of that 4-bed, 2-bath. Total living area square feet is listed at 3796. So it sounds to me like none of those units are very large. Lot size is listed at 3798. Again, that can't be very big. I'm kind of surprised at those numbers. They can't be very sizable based on that. We don't really have interior photos either, so I have to assume that there's a bigger amount of rehab involved with this property, which is probably why I didn't make a bigger noise about it before. Also amazing, like there seems to be a lot of parking. So whoever reported the unit's dimensions, either they have like an easement into a shared parking lot, or that lot size is just not correct. It seems very unlikely to me that all this would fit into a lot that's 4,000 square feet. Anyway, we're going to continue on into this. We're going to assume 60,000, that's 15K a unit of rehab. A little bit of elbow grease could save you a lot with this one. As long as there's nothing major, like between the mechanicals, the roof, the siding, that needs to be done. And I do believe both roofs have been recently replaced. So those things should come in okay. Let me find this property again. Where are we? Where is Florence Street? Give me 1 second to find that on the map. And then we're going to pull it up precisely. Okay, we're over in Olneyville, which is over here. Here we go, Florence Street. So let's pull into this again. Currently, those rents are totaling $3,600. We're looking at an average of $850 a unit between the 3 2-beds. So we're going to start with that. We got 3 2-beds, no 3 beds, 1 4-bed. So we're looking at $850 per unit right there. And then we have that 4-bed listed at $1,050 or rented at $1,050. That's a horrible number. It should be renting for $2,000. I think with improvements, there's potential to rent it above that. For some reason, I think this just has to do with the skew that happens when you compare to luxury properties. The apartment / condo space is actually renting for more. So I'm very confident that this 4-bed is listed well below where it should be. Total square footage is 1,200. So that's definitely a slightly tight 4-bed. You're not really going to improve that one a lot more. You might even be served to make like a nicer 3-bed out of this. You can't see like a big swing here, but you could make something more attractive. Let's keep the 4-bed. That's a big drop. So we'll keep that 4th bedroom for sure. All right, so going into those 2 beds, you can also see one of them is significantly smaller than the other 2. So that one may come in with rents a little bit lower. Let's pull those 2-bed numbers. So again, we're looking at condos now. We're going to get that bedroom back to 1 because there are no real comps for 2-bed, 2-bath. Okay, so we're looking at 1178 for that 25th percentile, 1350 for the median, 1420 for the average. I think we can comfortably get 1300 for 2 of them and maybe 1100 for the other one. So we're looking at an average of 1233 a unit. I think that's entirely possible with these. So we're going to run based on those numbers. We're not going to factor in coin-op, laundry, garage, parking, driveway parking. Those should just be gravy. I'd rather avoid them. We're going to assume vacancy at 8%, management at 8%, repairs and maintenance. I'm going to bump that up to 10% because we've got 2 roofs, 2 sets of siding to worry about. Same thing with CapEx. And then we're going to remove those numbers here. So you can see we're looking at what I think would be around a 7% cash-on-cash return with a 25% down payment and that $60,000 rehab. So this would be one where you really do need to know, and you need to go through this with a contractor and know that you're not looking at doing plumbing and electrical, because if you are, that is going to balloon these numbers. You're not going to want to move the walls around. You're not going to want to unearth anything that doesn't need to be done. Some ways to save a little bit of money on that rehab are going to be repainting the cabinets. Don't replace them. You're going to want to reglaze the tile in the bathroom if there is tile. I would spend the money on the tile to make it more durable, to reduce your long-term repairs and maintenance on that. Same thing in the kitchen. If you have bad flooring, go ahead and put some tile in. A little more expensive up front, but it will save you money over the long term. Appliances, clean them. Don't replace them if you can avoid it. If this one doesn't have appliances, then you might as well spend the money on stainless steel. That will drive those numbers up a little bit. But, you know, let's call it $75,000. It's still not going to be something where you're dying on this. You're getting 6.5% cash on cash with that. But that doesn't factor in, you know, what if you've tremendously added value to this and then you refi? You might also decide, all right, I'm going to get this with a, an FHA loan, and I'm going to move in and owner occupy this. That's also going to drop your interest rate because you're not getting a investor's rate. So ultimately, you're going to end up with a little bit better cash on cash return. That, after factoring in your repair cost out of pocket, is an 8.37% return. If you manage to get that repair a little bit tighter because you're managing it, you're handling some of it yourself, you might even be looking at something in the 50,000 range. Then you could be looking easily at that 10.5% cash on cash return. So I think that this makes for a great house hack in that regard, because you can save a lot there. You're going to keep that long-term loan. Obviously, for your first year, it's really just going to be a case of where you're offsetting your rent payments. If you wanted to maximize your value there, you could move into that smallest 2-bedroom, continue to rent everything else out, and improve 1 unit at a time. I would probably personally move into the 4-bed, 2-bath, make that sparkle, get it rented out for the maximum you possibly can. You might even be able to juice it up to like 2,400. Then fix up the 3-bed, the 3 2-beds. Maybe you do that one at a time. Depends on what your timeline is. If you can do each of those in 3 months and be very efficient with it, and you're able to get those tenants in and out, you could definitely minimize your vacancy and your costs. Obviously, while you're living there, self-managing, doing a lot of the repairs yourself, you're going to save a lot. If you had no management costs, you're looking at a 17% return as a self-managing owner-occupant. So you can see where you really do have a lot of flexibility with real estate. And there's a lot of power here to leveraging your own sweat equity. Anyway, that's just some quick stuff to consider. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next property. I do really like 61 Florence Street. I think it's a great buy. As far as like stuff on the market goes in Providence, I think it's a winner. All right, next up, we're going to look at 32 Wood Street. Benton, Brighton, and Piedmont were just not good enough. Based on where the rents could be, those were all negative. I am going to find out why Baldwin Court looks so good. I think it's because it was a concept of renting it by the room. We'll come to that in just a minute. First thing we're going to do is make ourselves a copy, and we're going to go ahead and pop 32 Wood Street in there. So here we go. 32 Wood Street is right over in the West End. So we're going to look over there and find out exactly what we're dealing with. Here we go. It is going to be right down here. All right, there we go. Wood Street, 400K. So let's find out whether or not it's worth it. First things first, we're going to take a look at those units. We do have 4 units, which I'm very excited about already. So that is 2 3-beds and 2 1-beds. Looks like there is a bonus half bath in one of the units. First up, we're going to go ahead and modify those prices. $399,900. We're going to put in that address of 32 Wood Street. We're going to put in right in here in Rent-A-Meter, find out exactly what's going on there. While that's loading, we're going to copy it over our Realtor.com link so that we have something to refer to. We have a total number of rooms of 8. Our square footage is totaling 3,500. Lot size is 5227. So there's also a little discrepancy between what Realtor.com and the MLS are posting. That's probably a conservative agent who didn't want to get sued for overestimating the square footage. I would actually guess that in this instance, Realtor.com is more accurate because they're probably automatically pulling from public record, but we do not know. All right, this one's been on Realtor.com for 10 days. Let's see what we're looking at. This looks like a very light cosmetic, if anything. This pretty much looks like one unit at least is turnkey. Here we go. Hardwoods throughout, plenty of updates. First floor is 3-bed, 1-bath. Second floor is 3-bed, 2-bath, or 1.5 bath. And then the third floor is 2 1-bed, 1-baths. Laundry room and plenty of storage in the basement. There's a detached garage for parking for 3 vehicles and driveway parking for 3 more. So this could be a case where you can get $50 a garage spot. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I want to get juicy with this one. Let's see what happens if we really force things. We're not going to charge for park. You know what? Let's go $25 a spot for driveway parking. Why not? We're going to go point up laundry in the basement, see how much that extra $3,300 annually can juice up our numbers. We're looking at 2 3s and 2 1s. No 3s, no 2s. Let's fix those numbers. So in place, we have 2 3-beds, both rented at $1,200. Looks like everything's leased up, so there is going to be some time where we are sitting here and going, well, I wish those numbers were better. I really do. But there's not much we can do about that, except make sure that we are buying right to hold. I think this is actually one that could work for that. First thing we're going to do is see, okay, we know those 3 beds can easily rent above that $1,200 range. There's potential to get up to $1,500. I love that. We're going to keep those numbers conservative, though. Let's go with $1,300. I don't want to juice those up way up. The one with the bonus half bath is definitely going to rent for more. Wow, $1,700 for the lower end. All right, I'm going to take that. So we're going to go $1,250 plus 17. I'm going to just get a little more conservative on one of them. So we're going to go $1,250 plus 1,700 divided by 2. We're looking at $1,475 on average there. I think that's very doable. Also, I think that's a very clear indicator that if you have the time and the means, go ahead and add a half bath to that other 3-bed when you're switching things up and moving in new tenants. All right, those 1-beds are probably not going to come in a whole lot better than where they were. Square footage on the 3-beds is the same, so there's definitely room for that. We're looking at a 25th percentile of 865 and a median of 1350. That's got to be getting skewed. That property number D has got to be a case where it's rented well above. I'm going to assume 900 here. I don't want to go way over. I do think there's room to improve the rents. So there's where we're going to throw those numbers in. We do have a total of 4 units. Let me adjust that. There we go. Now those numbers should come in correct. We're looking at a $399,900 purchase price. We're assuming very light cosmetic here. So I'm going to assume 10,000 a unit or less. Again, we're putting 25% down. We're keeping that whole repair cost for now, 4.50% for the interest rate for now. We are looking at, we've got our 8% and our 10%. So those numbers appear to be popping out just fine. Again, we have the investor rate on the property taxes. That's another thing I didn't mention with Florence Street, is if we drop down this property tax because we are going to be living there and take into account that owner occupancy loan, that's where our numbers can get way, way nicer. So just some things to think about. As always, these will be linked in the description, so you have the opportunity to take these files and play around with them yourself. you can absolutely have a field day with it. I always recommend running your own numbers, making sure that everything makes sense to you. I think as a 4-family, this is another great potential house hack. Let's find out what our numbers came out to. So we're looking at break even with that net cash flow at the stabilized rate and a negative cash flow with that existing rate. So that came in a little bit worse than my original numbers. I was getting a 5% positive return with the new rents, so I got to figure out why. 5350 is actually less than what I was at. Oh, that's Florence Street. Hold on. 5350 is an extra $600. So I came to a much higher estimate with my numbers in that quick analysis. I don't have a good reason for why. Probably from improving that 1 3-bed. I probably took a higher number for the 1-beds. I think there's room to do that with this, but I think it's probably not juicy enough to go nuts, especially since I already did pop in those additional sources of income. I'd say 32 Wood Street is a thumbs down for me. I am going to look at one more for us. That is 9 Baldwin Court. This is a 2-family. It's a 6-bed, 2-bath in one unit and a 2-bed, 1 or 2-bath in the other unit. I do think it's around here. All right, I'm going to find it the smart way, which is to pull open the numbers here. Oh, all right. So I did not save this one the way I was supposed to, but we're going to find it this way. Here we go. So that is in the West End. All right, so it's just going to be a little bit north. There we go, 219.9. I got to assume there's a little bit more work in this, but in general, the duplexes are selling a lot lower in Providence. I think there's a very high amount of investor interest here, much like in Worcester. I think what's happening is prices are getting driven up by the number of investors who are trying to make it work there, and a lot of them are ignoring these 2 families. I'm not certain of that, but that appears to me to be what's going on with these properties. Just based on the fact that this 2-bed can come in so much cheaper. There's also a definite possibility that this is just simply not a nice unit and it needs a lot of work. We're looking at a total of 8 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms in this one. So that is what caught my eye about this, is there's a lot of bedroom for the total number of units. I do think that gives us potential for a little bit more. 2,400 square foot lot. We're definitely not looking at any parking here. Also been in the market for 87 days. So this is probably something that has some issues. It could also mean that there's an opportunity to get a little discount here. All right, so we're looking at a 2-bed and a 6-bed. So let's go ahead and figure out those numbers. In place, they're both rented for $800, which blows my mind. They're not leased up, which is great because we want them out for sure. 2 units total. All right, so here's what we're finding. Baldwin Court right here. We're going to go ahead and estimate our price, and I'm going to use that duplex option because we know this is a duplex. We have a 2-bed, 1-bath in a duplex. We're looking at $1,050 to $1,319. I'm going to go with $1,050 just to try to be a little bit on the conservative side here. I don't want to way overdo this. Then we have a 6-bed, 2-bath. Again, yep, that's right. So this number, obviously, as you can see, is being driven up by stuff that is way away from it. So it's a little bit harder to give an accurate analysis for this one. I'm going to go with any for that building type to see if I get better numbers. There are definitely more local samples. Price point is still looking pretty good. I'm going to go any on the bathrooms. And it doesn't really change our comps. So I do think it's very possible to get $2,680, $2,700 for the 6-bedroom. So we're going to go $2,682 right on Rent-A-Meter's bottom end estimate. We are going to take out all of those juicy add-ons, and we're going to bring down that purchase price to $219,900. We're going to estimate the repairs a little higher because it's been there for a little bit. There's probably a reason for it. Overall, this property doesn't look horrible scrolling through these pictures. I don't think there's going to be an issue with the siding. Maybe the roof could need work. We can't really tell from the photos. Things are definitely looking dated, but that doesn't mean horrible. That bathroom's pretty bad. That looks like peel and stick tile or tiles that were very poorly laid. So there's definitely some room for a bathroom remodel there. Living area looks decent though. Definitely everything can always use a coat of paint. Those stairs probably want to be touched up a little bit. We want to do what we can to maximize the curb appeal when we are showing tenants. We don't want them walking up the stairs going, oh, this landlord doesn't take care of the place. So it's really important to get things clean, make sure they're in a cosmetic shape that's acceptable. I do think that justifies spending some money on this rehab. $30,000 a unit, as long as there's no significant mechanical issues, should take care of it. I don't see any reason why you would need to spend more than that on cosmetics. However, I have not done 100 rehabs, so don't sue me again. All right, so property taxes are going to come in a lot lower because the property value is so much lower. Insurance, again, is going to be a little cheaper because that property value is lower. Utilities are a little bit lower because we're looking at 2 units. There does appear to be some room here. We're looking at a 6.27% cash-on-cash return based on these numbers. Now, obviously, we need to be able to command that unit rent for that 6-bed. If that doesn't work out, we've got a problem. So this is one where I would recommend talking to an agent in the area, talking to a property manager in the area, making sure that that's really feasible. And then you're just looking to see, can I actually get those repairs in cheaper? Because that is where we're really going to see that cash-on-cash drive up. Just dropping that to $40,000 brings us up to a 7.5% cash-on-cash. There's probably room to drive that up further. But that's really where I think the money is going to be, is in making sure that this is really feasible here with that 6-bed, doing whatever we can to drive down that repair cost, getting multiple bids from contractors. A lot of this cosmetic stuff shouldn't be super expensive. If we were just looking at painting and cleaning, you should be able to spend less than $10,000 for the unit. You know, retiling the kitchens and the bathrooms is probably going to cost you a few grand, but it shouldn't be insane. I do think you could definitely get those repairs under, but again, I'd recommend going through with a few bids. I think this is a cool property. That 6-bed is really what does it for me. If I were personally going to purchase, again, like a house hack, I would love to live in that 2-bed and rent, maybe even rent out that 6-bed by the room. If you were going $500 a room for that 6-bed, we'd be looking at minimum $6,000 or $3,000. If you have $600 a room, you're looking at $3,600. It's not impossible to get that as long as that property is nice and appealing for people. So those are just some considerations. I'm going to stop it here. I got family plans for the evening. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep analyzing.